It was the evening of October 12, 2024, when Bainbridge officers attempted to stop a vehicle for something simple, a tag frame violation. But what started as a traffic stop quickly escalated into one of the most dangerous chases that part of Georgia had seen in months. The suspect wasn't just speeding, he was flying down Georgia 309, crossing lanes, cutting blind corners, and nearly wiping out a patrol car in the process. Trooper Evans was en route, planning to deploy spike strips, but before he could, the suspect came roaring through the intersection at a speed that defied logic. Once Evans joined the pursuit, the situation only got worse. The driver hit 120 miles per hour on a narrow, curvy road with no shoulder. At that point, Evans knew, if he didn't stop this driver now, someone was going to die. With only one straight stretch of highway ahead, the trooper made a split-second call. He moved in for the pit.
Pit, milepost 1, copy. Milepost 1, roll over, go ahead and send EMS.
Troopers' patrol car clipped the suspect's rear bumper, sending the fleeing vehicle spinning off the road and crashing into a ditch. When the dust settled, the suspect was gone. Officers found him moments later, lying face down beside a culvert, unresponsive. They began CPR immediately, but it was too late. The suspect was pronounced dead. Inside his vehicle, troopers discovered 2 pounds of marijuana wrapped in cellophane and over $5,000 in cash, evidence of what he was likely running from. On the evening of July 3, 2025, a white Ford sedan decided to turn Little Rock, Arkansas, into its own personal racetrack, and Trooper Amber Cass was about to give the driver a reality check. The chase twisted through sharp curves, narrow lanes, and more brake checks than a rookie driver's first lesson. At one point, you could almost hear the suspect thinking, maybe if I swerve hard enough, she'll back off. Spoiler alert, she didn't. Have you ever noticed how some people think brake checking a trooper will somehow work out for them? Yeah, this was one of those moments. Trooper Cass kept her composure, reading every move like a chess game played at 80 miles an hour. After several calculated maneuvers, Cass made her move. One precise tap, one perfect angle, and the game was over. After the vehicle came to a stop, he tried one last time to resist, but Trooper Cass and backup officers quickly took him into custody without further incident. Inside the car, officers found open containers and a small amount of marijuana, explaining the suspect's sudden need for speed. Hill was arrested and charged with felony fleeing, reckless driving, resisting arrest, and obstruction of governmental operations. He's now sitting in the Pulaski County Jail, facing several years behind bars, and probably wondering if that joyride was really worth it. In Escambia County, Florida, a gray Jeep Grand Cherokee blasts past a trooper at 104 miles per hour in a 40 zone. You know it's bad when your speeding ticket could double as a criminal charge. The trooper flips around, lights up the siren, and the chase is on. Now here's a question for you. What do you think is the first thing that goes through someone's mind when they realize the police are behind them? Because for this driver, it was apparently, let's make it worse.
On Bellevue. Left on Bellevue. In just 1 second. Crossing below angle. I hit him. He stopped.
The Jeep started weaving through traffic like it was in a video game, blowing through neighborhoods, almost clipping cars, and refusing to stop. The trooper made multiple pit attempts, but this guy was relentless, flooring it, dodging, and even brake checking like he was auditioning for Demolition Derby.
Open drive, left open drive. 1349, we got him at 51, 1049 in FJ.
The troopers were having a really hard time stopping this suspect, and you could tell this wasn't going to end quietly. Despite multiple pit attempts, the driver somehow managed to keep that Jeep moving. As every second that passed, the danger grew. But where there's danger, there come the pit maneuvers. And finally, the suspect, Triquez Lontanio Davis, was stopped. He was arrested after a brief struggle and a K9 takedown. Inside his Jeep, troopers found meth, marijuana, promethazine, and even a couple of guns, including an AR-style rifle. Oh, and fun fact, he didn't even have a driver's license. Davis already had an outstanding warrant from another county for fleeing and eluding, so this chase just added a few more years to his collection. After a quick trip to the hospital for his K-9 inflicted lesson, he was transported straight to Escambia County Jail, where the only thing he'll be driving from now on is his cellmate Crazy. On an afternoon of September 12, 2023, a Douglas County deputy noticed a blue Dodge Challenger cruising down Interstate 20 with a legally dark tint. Nothing unusual at first glance. But what happened next would prove exactly why Georgia troopers and deputies don't ignore the small things. When the deputy flipped on his lights, the driver slowed down and pulled over on a side of the road. But when the deputy exited patrol car, that's when the situation get out of control. Just as the deputy stepped out of his patrol car, the driver smashed the gas and took off. Tires screeching, engine roaring, and all hopes of talking his way out of a ticket gone in an instant. What the driver didn't realize, though, is that this decision, this one split second of panic, would turn out to be the worst mistake of his life. The deputy closed the gap and executed a perfect pit, sending the Challenger spinning off the road and leaving it completely wrecked. But the chaos wasn't over. The suspect climbed out through the window, dazed but still defiant, refusing to surrender. As the deputy moved in to make the arrest, the driver made one final desperate move. He bolted across the interstate.
Get your hands! Get out the window! Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! On the ground! On the ground! Hey, you don't fuck with the boys, you got a gun. Get on the ground, mother. Show me your hands, get on the ground. I'm gonna shoot you, get on the ground. Come here. We're done. We're done. You alright? Put your hands back.
The suspect was identified as 42-year-old Jeffrey Oliver Williams from Mississippi, and what deputies found inside that mangled Dodge Challenger explained everything. Hidden inside were 25,000 ecstasy tablets, each packed with methamphetamine, a street value of nearly $400,000. Suddenly, that dark window tint didn't seem like such a small crime anymore. Williams was charged with felony fleeing, obstruction, trafficking methamphetamine, and more. For the excuse, he said the car isn't his, but that line didn't hold up in court. He's now serving a mandatory 10 years in a Georgia state prison, followed by 20 years of probation, scheduled for release in 2033. At 3:34 in the morning, most of Georgia is sound asleep, but not Trooper Zach Pruitt. While patrolling I-20 near Bremen, he spotted a 2015 Nissan Sentra flying down the interstate, a simple traffic stop for speeding. That's how it started. But when Trooper Pruitt stepped out of his cruiser, the driver hit the gas and took off, turning a routine stop into a fight for survival. Here's when things went from bad to unbelievable. Out of nowhere, the passenger leaned out the window and started firing a rifle at the trooper. Bullets tore through the night, one of them striking Pruitt's patrol car and disabling it.
He's a Nissan heading eastbound. He's still eastbound. We're getting I-20 shut down. He shot my motor out. I'm starting to lose sight. There's a passenger shot with an AK.
From there, the chase spread across multiple jurisdictions. Carroll County deputies, Carrollton PD, and Villa Rica officers all joined in, and the Sentra's passenger kept shooting, hitting Sergeant Rob Holloway in the process. Despite being wounded, Holloway kept driving. The chase finally came to an end near Ithaca Elementary, where the suspects crashed and bailed on foot. But they weren't done yet. Moments later, gunfire erupted again. Officer Chase Gordy was shot twice, and Deputy John Repetto also took a round while returning fire. By sunrise, one of the gunmen was dead. The other, captured and hauled off to Carroll County Jail, now faces a mountain of charges that'll keep him behind bars for decades. Sergeant Holloway and Officer Gordy were rushed to Grady Hospital, both surviving their injuries, while Deputy Repetto was treated and released. It started like any other day on Interstate 85. Sunny skies, moderate traffic, and trooper eyes locked on radar. Then a dark Chevrolet Malibu came flying through the lanes at 91 miles per hour, weaving around cars like it was auditioning for Fast and Furious. But instead of a movie scene, this was real life, and Trooper wasn't about to let that slide.
I don't know, Trooper Marshall with the Georgia State Patrol. When you made that lane change up from behind that Mustang, 93. Yep, you got driver's license on? Yeah, you're going 93 miles per hour. I don't know. Yeah, you are. You were definitely flying.
That's crazy, because he was going faster than me. That's crazy.
After pulling the Malibu over, the driver, calm as ever, claimed her name was Corey Anna Lewis. She even wrote it down confidently like it was a pop quiz she had studied for. But here's the catch. The face on the ID didn't match. Now, if you've watched enough of these stories, you probably already know what happens when someone starts lying about their name. It never ends with, "You're free to go." When the trooper's supervisor arrived to double-check, everything seemed under control until it didn't. In a split second, the driver slammed the pedal, throwing the Malibu into drive and launched back into traffic. Just like that, the calm conversation turned into a 130-mile-per-hour highway nightmare. Imagine driving that fast while dodging traffic, running red lights, and hoping luck doesn't run out, because hers was about to. She flew off Sugarloaf Parkway, tore through intersections like the lights didn't even exist, and used the shoulder to blow past anyone in her way. But let's be honest, how long do you think a Malibu can really outrun a state trooper trained for moments exactly like this? Write your guess in the comments. I'll pin whoever gets the closest. The trooper pinned the Malibu against the sidewalk and boxing her in. The driver was taken into custody and finally identified correctly after the stunt. She was checked for minor injuries and then taken straight to the Gwinnett County Jail, facing a long list of charges, from felony, fleeing, and reckless driving to providing false information and speeding over 130 miles per hour. On April 18, 2023, a Florida Highway Patrol trooper clocked a white Infiniti tearing down Interstate 10, weaving through traffic and pushing well past 130 miles per hour. When the trooper tried to make a stop, the Infiniti driver slammed the gas, slicing between lanes and nearly clipping multiple vehicles. Other FHP units joined in, turning the highway into a high-stakes pursuit that looked more like a movie scene than real life.
Eastbound out there, shoot. The white Infiniti plate of SU.
The suspect showed absolute disregard for every driver on the road, weaving through traffic like lives didn't matter. His every move screamed desperation, and it was clear he'd do whatever it takes to escape. Moments later, he'd prove just how far he was willing to go. Now get ready for this, because what just happened you probably missed. As the suspect tried to blast past traffic on the shoulder, a random driver, almost like a citizen hero, executed a pit maneuver stopping the suspect. But before anyone could react, the suspect bailed out and took off on foot. And just when you think it couldn't get any crazier, the K9 unit charges in, but instead of the suspect, the dog launches straight onto a trooper, tackling him to the ground in full pursuit chaos. While some troopers ran after the fleeing suspect, others rushed to pull the K9 off their own partner. After nearly getting run over by a semi-truck, the suspect, identified as Isaiah Jamal Colley, finally met his fate. Troopers moved in and placed him under arrest, and when they searched his Infiniti, what they found was straight out of a crime movie. A duffel bag loaded with 2 guns, a Glock and an AR-style rifle, plus 6.6 grams of marijuana. Colley was taken to the hospital for evaluation, then straight to the Escambia County Jail. On October 28, 2022, a white pickup truck was reported stolen in Arkansas, and it didn't take long for police to spot it speeding down the highway. Officers tried to pull the driver over, but he had other plans. Now, local police stayed right on his tail, but they knew exactly who to call: the Arkansas State Troopers. Because when things start getting out of hand on Arkansas roads, that's when the troopers step in.
466 Young, Union. And if I get a chance, I'm gonna put him out. He's driving too crazy.
6-4, J11. Portsmouth County, you can go ahead with a patch if you want to. If you want to. Copy that, I'll get a patch.
We're on 363, I think, Pearl Mountain area.
6-4, copy. I didn't copy where he said. Highway 363 going to Robinson Lane.
10-4. As soon as I get a chance, sir, I'm going to put them out.
As soon as the Arkansas State Trooper took over as primary, the entire tone of the chase changed. The trooper locked in, closing the gap on the stolen truck like a hawk zeroing in on its target. Over the radio, he made it clear. First chance I get, I'm going for a pit.
Coming up on 7,000 block of Pearl Mountain State Assembly pit at the moment. They ran several times. It's
Successful pit.
Copy, successful pit, 537, 63, close to Pearl Mountain Road in Summer Road.
After a perfectly timed pit, the stolen truck spun out and came to a stop. The trooper quickly teamed up with local officers who had been trailing as backup, and together they approached the vehicle with weapons drawn. The suspect tried one last trick, raising his hands like he was about to pull over just seconds before the pit. But that kind of game doesn't work with Arkansas State Troopers. Within moments, he was pulled from the stolen truck and taken into custody without further incident.